All right, the reason that I wanted Ryan to play that song again, he actually played it again. That's the second time he's played it today. He played it for the Gathering song, is because I'm a huge Bob Dylan fan. No, there's more to it than that. It's one of Bob Dylan's more obscure songs. It's on his bootleg series. But over the years, that song has definitely drawn me in. Can you put the lyrics back, or leave them on the screen? If you look at these lyrics, there's a lot more verses to the song as you heard Ryan sing it, but these ones in particular, the trail is dark and dusty, the road is kind of rough, but the good road is awaiting, and boys, it ain't far off. Trails of troubles, roads of battles, paths of victory we shall walk. The gravel road is bumpy, it's a hard old road to ride, but the clear road is up yonder with the cinders on the side. Now, those aren't overly ambitious lyrics in the sense that they don't necessarily break a whole lot of new ground, but they circle around the same theme. In fact, the whole song circles around the same theme, and it is that theme that is what's compelling. It is that theme that draws, well, me in, and maybe you too. I'm always on the lookout for another Dylan fan, so... But that theme is destiny. The person singing this song, Bob Dylan, or the persona in this song, sees himself in some greater destiny, some place that's better than where he is as he's singing the song. What's more than that, he sees his current difficulties as somehow being made up for by being able to be a part of this greater destiny, going to this greater destiny, whatever that may be. The power of this song is that it circles around this incredible theme, and this is a theme that touches something deep within our hearts. Deep within the human heart, there is a sense that we want to be part of something greater, some greater destiny, some greater purpose, some greater something. And it's way deep down in there. That sense of destiny is just there within us. Dallas Willard is a student of the human heart. I mean, he's actually a philosophy professor, but he's a student of the human heart, and he's someone who has had Jesus at the center of his life for a number of years. And he describes this sense of destiny that lies deep within our hearts this way. He says, "To be ordinary is to be only more of the same. The human being screams against this from its every pore. To be just another one of those is deadening agony for us. Indeed, it actually drives some people to their death. This is why everyone, from the smallest child to the oldest adult, naturally wants in some way to be extraordinary, outstanding, making a unique contribution, or, if all else fails, wants to be thought so, if only for a brief time. The 15 minutes of fame that Andy Warhol said everyone would someday have in the modern media-saturated world may give desperate souls an assurance of uniqueness that could protect them from being nobody, at least in their own eyes." Wanting that sense of connection to this greater destiny, this sense of destiny within our hearts, is more than simply wanting to be part of something bigger. It's that part of our hearts that makes us want to believe that whatever difficulties we're going through now will be made up for by being connected, by being a part of that greater destiny. Now, the power of the Dylan song is that it gives voice to that part of the heart, even though it doesn't clearly spell out exactly what this greater destiny may be. This morning, what remains a vague voice from the heart in this Dylan song becomes a clear vision for our lives and for this world in this passage we read from Joshua 24, verses 2 to 18. As Ben has been saying, This is the 1-year anniversary. 1 year ago today, we opened the doors for public worship here at City Grace. And we thought it would be a good time for us to pause from our pilgrimage series, which will begin again next week, and instead focus on the clear vision that God has for us individually and for us as a community here at City Grace, and to consider how this clear vision God has for us leads us into that greater sense of destiny. There's 3 things we're going to talk about this morning. First of all, we got to find that clear vision within that passage we read for this morning. Second, we got to consider what gets in the way for us as we pursue this clear vision for our lives, for this world, for the community here at City Grace. And then third, we're going to consider how we can deal with, how we can get past what gets in the way of pursuing God's clear vision for our lives and for this community. So first, we got to figure out how to find God's clear vision that attaches us to some greater sense of destiny in this passage from Joshua 24, verses 2 to 18, because I admit it's not readily apparent when you hear it read to you. There's all these references to these ancient peoples with all these strange names, unless, of course, you study the ancient Near East. Then this would be all, the history of the ancient Near East, and this would all be very familiar to you. But if you do not have that background knowledge this morning, it sounds like these strange names from these particular people from the particular time. And whatever greater sense of destiny there may be, it would be some kind of particular greater destiny for those particular people and that particular time. What in the world would it have to do with us? And by the way, there's all this really off-putting language of conquest in there. All this military demonstration and the destroying of enemies, and even the 2 Amorite kings. Why were they so bad? He's throwing all of this off-putting language of military conquest is in there. So if this does have something to do with some greater sense of destiny for all of us, maybe it's not even a destiny your heart really wants anyway. So finding that clear vision is very important. It's difficult and important in this passage from Joshua 24. But it's there, and the way to get at it is to realize that this episode that's described here in Joshua 24, that is being played out within the context of a particular historical circumstance with a particular people interacting with God at that particular time, that is part of a story that is leading into God's great vision, His great destiny for all those who want to be a part of it. It is a story that has its completion and its climax in Jesus Christ. The Apostle Paul, who was one of the early people who put Jesus at the center of his life. He lived around the 1st century A.D., and he wrote most of what is in the New Testament. He wrote a letter to the church in Corinth around that time, around 51 A.D. or so. And in that letter, he spells out how Jesus is the completion and the climax of this story that is, really begun in Genesis, but is certainly played out through Joshua 24. There Paul says, "Then the end will come when he," that's Jesus, "hands over the kingdom to God the Father, after he has destroyed all dominion, authority, and power. For he must reign until he has put all enemies under his feet." Okay, there. Now you see the universality, right? That is no longer particular to a certain people, a certain time. It's the overthrow of all dominion, authority, and power. Jesus, through his death and resurrection, has